Hello and welcome back to F1 Every Week. I am your host Ben Wevel, and today I'm going to be rounding up all of the last week's key F1 talking points, including Hamilton contract talks, the next steps for Stoffel Vandoorne in Formula 1, and much more. You can listen to the podcast on the streaming platform of your choice, including Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Now, without further ado, let's get into episode 81. First off this week, let's talk about Pierre Gasly, who has been in hot water with the FIA stewards in the past month after accruing a number of penalty points. His latest offence saw the Frenchman leave the track and gain an advantage on Aston Martin's Lance Stroll, which saw another point added to his licence. This follows on from the mess of a red flag in the rain-soaked Suzuka, now putting the driver on a precarious 10 points in the last 5.5 months. Only 2 more of those would result in an immediate race suspension, and this will be hanging over Pierre until May 2023, 7 rounds into next year's season. Gasly has been infuriated all season long with the race director's itchy trigger finger when it comes to 5-second time penalties, which may cost him dearly in the long run as he tries to make the most of his new lease on F1 life at Alpine. Now onto Stoffel Vandoorne, the reigning Formula E champion, who is set to join Aston Martin as a test and reserve driver for 2023. After only 26 points from 41 Grand Prix starts with McLaren between 2016 and 2018, Stoffel has been on the sidelines in the Formula 1 world as a reserve driver for Mercedes since 2019. The Dutchman has now decided to make the switch to Mercedes engine partner Aston Martin, and I think that this is definitely a step in the right direction for Stoffel. After Lewis Hamilton contracted COVID in late 2020, Vandoorne looked set to take the Brit seat for the Sakir Grand Prix, but he was rejected in favour of Williams driver and now Mercedes driver George Russell. His one chance to race in that Merc seat, stripped away from him by a frankly more talented driver. And with the now 41-year-old Fernando Alonso joining Aston Martin in 2023, the team may be the only chance Stoffel has left to make it back onto the F1 grid after Fernando Alonso inevitably retires in the next half a decade or so. On the subject of Fernando joining the Silverstone-based team, the Spaniard is set to partake in his first test with the outfit on the Tuesday after the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix at the Yas Marina circuit. Alonso will be joined by Nick de Vries, Pierre Gasly and friends in the 2023 Pirelli tyre test, which will occur that week. It also feels wrong that after the mishap that was the month of August for Formula 1 this year, that the driver transfers are in fact settled upon, and a quarter of the grid will end up elsewhere in 2023. Lewis Hamilton's contract was also in the spotlight this week, once again. It seems that every year Mercedes sit down and think of the newest and most twisted ways to falsely insinuate Lewis Hamilton's retirement from the sport. But this year will hopefully give Lewis fans some more assurance. On Thursday, Toto Wolff admitted that contract negotiations had not yet commenced for beyond 2023, but that he would rather wait until the season has concluded and reach an agreement during the quote-unquote quiet winter. I have no doubt that Lewis will be on the grid until at least the end of these current engine regulations prior to the changes made in 2026. And we all know that he's still hungry for that 8th title which he felt was stripped away from him last season. If Mercedes can develop at a fast enough rate over the next 4 seasons, then they may give Hamilton just the opportunity he needs to take the title once again. I mean, it's not as if they'll want anyone else for the job. In the FIA's most recent blunder, it was also announced on Thursday that F1 has decided to scrap plans to lower the tyre blanket temperatures from 70 to 50 degrees Celsius for 2023. This waning of tyre temperatures was an aspect of a greater scheme to eradicate the use of tyre blankets entirely by 2024, but this too could possibly fall through. Despite this change projected to reduce energy consumption and increase sustainability of Formula One, which has been a real mantra of the FIA over the past few years, the decision was very unpopular with drivers from the get-go after its initial trial at the US Grand Prix came back with negative results. At the following Grand Prix in Mexico, Mario Isola, Pirelli's motorsport boss, still assured that the concept of no tyre blankets was still on the cards for the coming years, but, in fact, F1 will be unwilling to sacrifice driver unity over an issue over a minor decrease in the environmental impact. They already have enough turbulence as it is to be risking this kind of complaint from the field. Thank you for listening to F1 Every Week. Tune in next week for my review of the 2022 Brazilian Grand Prix.